Good morning, everyone. Ms. Hall here with lesson 27. You're going to want to have your problem set out, and today you will need a reference sheet. So make sure that you have that because we'll be doing some converting. Today we are solving word problems that involve fraction division. So you're going to want to keep in mind from last week the strategy that we were using for dividing fractions. Remember, we keep the first factor, we change the sign, and then we flip the fraction. So I always like to jot those letters down on my paper to help me remember the steps so that I don't mix them up and go out of order. So we're going to start with the first problem. I changed the names in our problems for today. Number one, Miss Hall bought 3 mini cakes for Matthew's birthday. She cuts each cake into quarters and plans to serve each guest 1/4 of a cake. How many guests can she serve with all of her cakes? Okay, so let's think about what I have here. I have 3 cakes. So this represents my 3 cakes. These cakes will be split into 4 pieces. So I'm going to draw 3 lines within each hole. Oops, those weren't very even. Okay. So let's think about what we're doing here. What we're doing is we're taking 3 cakes and we're dividing them into fourths. So let's get ready to solve. With my first factor, I keep it the same. So that stays as a 3. My next step is to change my sign. So division sign becomes a multiplication sign. And then I flip my fraction. 1/4 becomes 4/1. Now remember last week we talked about how if a denominator is 1, then the numerator just becomes that as a whole number. So 3 times 4/1 becomes 3 times 4. 3 times 4, basic fact, just multiply and you get 12. So then I would write an answer statement. How many guests can she serve with all of her cakes? She can serve 12 guests. So I had 3 cakes and I split each one into fourths. So 3 cakes divided by 1/4, I can serve 12 people. Okay, let's get ready for problem number 2. You start reading problem number 2 while I get ready. So Mr. Springall has 1/4 pan of lasagna left in the refrigerator. He wants to cut the lasagna into equal slices so he can have it for dinner for 3 nights. How much lasagna will he eat each night? Okay, so he has 1/4 of a pan of lasagna. And he wants to cut it into equal slices so he can have it for 3 nights. So he has 1/4 of the original pan. And he wants to divide that into 3 parts. Now, I can't flip this whole number because it's not a fraction yet. So remember, to make a whole number into a fraction, all we have to do is put it over 1. So this is the same as 1/4 divided by 3/1. Now that I have a fraction in the second position, I can start going through my process. So 1/4, keep. So I have 1/4. The sign I change to multiplication. And now I flip my fraction. So instead of 3/1, I have 1/3. Now to multiply my fractions, I multiply the numerator times the numerator. So 1 times 1 is 1. And then 4 times 3 is 12. So this is my answer, 1/12. So let's review what the question was asking us so we can write a statement. How much lasagna will he eat each night? Okay, so he will eat 1/12 of the tray each night. He had 1/4 of it left and then split that 1/4 up into 3 parts. Okay, we're going to do one more. We're going to do number 3 together. So flip your page and start looking at that one while I get ready. Okay, number 3. The perimeter of a square is 1/5 of a meter. Okay, so perimeter. Draw a little square here. Okay, so perimeter, I remember, is the value if I add together the length of each side. So if I were to add all the sides together, I would get 1/5 of a meter. So if I know these are all the same, they should all be the same number. So, I have to take 1/5 and divide it by what? How many sides are there on the square? I know the total is 1/5, but how many sides made up the 1/5? 1, 2, 3, 4. Seems like we should divide it by 4. Because we're trying to solve A. Find the length of each side. Now I have this situation again where I have a whole number. I need to put this over 1 to make it a fraction. So this equals 1/5 divided by 4 over 1. Now I'm ready to divide by using keep, change, flip. So I'm going to keep 1/5. I change my sign to multiplication. And then I take the numbers in the fraction and I flip their positions. So this is 1/5 times 1/4. Now I multiply. 1 times 1 is 1. And then I multiply my denominators. 5 times 4 is 20. So the length of each side is 1/20 of a meter. So if I were going back to my diagram, I would label each one of these sides as 1/20. Now, there's a second part of the question, part B. How long is each side in centimeters? So we've been dealing with meters. I'm going to erase my board because I'm out of space, but you'll go down to part B. So I'm taking 1/20 of a meter. And I want to figure out how many centimeters that is. So I'm going to set up a conversion here. I'm trying to figure out how many centimeters. Now, this part is kind of a review back to converting. I think we did this like 2 weeks ago. So what I have to do is I have to take this 1/20. I want to separate it from my meters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 1/20 times 1 meter. And this is the part where you need your conversion chart if you don't already know how many centimeters are in a meter, because I'm going to rewrite this, but I'm going to change 1 meter to what it's equal to. So 1/20 times, instead of 1 meter, I'm going to change it to centimeters. And I know that there are 100 centimeters in a meter. These are equal. Since they're the same, I can just swap them out. Now I just have a multiplication expression here. So 1 times 100 is going to go on the top of the fraction, and the 20 goes on the bottom. When I do 1 times 100, I'll just get 100. So I have 100 over 20. And the numerator is much bigger than the denominator. So I know that I have to do some dividing. So I want to think, how many times does 20 go into 100? Or I can think, what's 100 divided by 20? You may be noticing that we have 2 zeros here. We can cancel those out. So 100 divided by 10 would be 10. 20 divided by 10 would be 2. So you can also think of it that way. So then you're dealing with 10 divided by 2, which is a basic fact. So 10 divided by 2, I think 2 times what is 10? That would be 5. So my answer to part B is each side is 5 centimeters long. So those are the problems that we're going to go through together. I would like you, before you do your exit ticket, to go ahead and practice part 4. It's very similar to number 3 in that you're going to be doing a division problem, and then you have a conversion. So try another one of those all on your own to make sure that you understand how to do that. Then you're going to go ahead and do your exit ticket for today. Don't forget, if you need help, you can rewatch this video, you can pause, you can rewind, and you can always reach out to any of your teachers for help if you need it. So have a great day, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.